Oh, hey, we're recording. What's going on? So why don't we make a video here? Pick a topic. All right, let's give this one a shot. A post on r/DnD by Deathclaw Scared called "I'm done DMing." I'm done. I give up. Some of my players who I think are my friends just can't be pleased. They're always make a character that don't fit the story, have no motivation, and of course, he uses everyone's favorite excuse. It's what my character would do. I made a character. She was supposed to be important. They were in our house. They knew her name, characters as well. She was a construct. She does not address someone until they show her respect. So they were calling her names and slurs, trying to get her attention. One of them tried to touch her breasts. She teleported him out of the house. Then she spent the whole game complaining. Then he spent the whole game complaining. Then there was another player who just rode his hate train. Only one was respectful to her and had a conversation. One third players cared for the campaign. I just want to get this off my chest and say that I'm at my limit. I quit. I give up. I'm done. All right. Hey. So we just read the part. Looks like there's nice messages in the comments. Let's check out the comments. And before I do, I just want to say, like, if this is you as a DM, if you're going through this specifically, they're insulting and making slurs and trying to get attention, and it's just not working. Well, look, your players obviously want something else. They obviously need some kind of other thing to get them more engaged with the content. So, what you could do instead of quitting is to show them another thing they can do instead. Why don't you show them, like, show them, don't put them, like, show them situations where they're not alone with women, first of all. They obviously can't handle that. The next one, show them situations where if they do something like that, their player is going to get killed, not just teleported. You, is it really the right thing to do if you're serious about your safety in this dangerous world of Dungeons and Dragons? If someone touches you and makes you feel really bad and weird, and they're calling you names, well, it's perfectly appropriate to unsheath that sword and even attempt to attack or attempt to kill them. And sure, it might ruin the flow of what you planned on your role play, what you planned in your story. Well, things happen. People get pushed to their limit. And that's why your NPCs need to have death. They need to have a plan in case there's a limit pushed. So this post has like 2,000 upvotes. That's crazy. Because this is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous post. For 2,000 upvotes. I didn't even notice that. Honestly, DM, you should have handled it a little bit better. You should have punished your players instead of just teleporting them. If only one third cares, that means you need to find new people or run a different type of game for them if they're your friends and stuff like that. All right, let's look at these comments. Don't quit, just boot the trash out. Oh, okay. Sorry. Brian Sarah says, don't quit, just boot the trash out of your game. They obviously not respectful people. At least not enough to respect the time and effort you put in. I promise it'll be easier for you to find players than it will for them to find another DM. Many people will say, try talking to them like adults, or use the chart. But I say life is too short to spend help shitty people grow. You're not their parent, and they should already know how to behave like decent people. Izanithi replies, I am all for talking, but count I'll count I ain't DMing for shit players as talking with players this bad. The OP replies, thank you, I'll be doing that, but it's hard to find people where I'm at. But I'll try. Again, thank you. Wow. Oh, Mingo, don't feel afflicted. This happens to be the best of us. I'm in my 40s, and I've had players like this for a decade. In fact, just this year I adapted some personal DM rules that I want to share with you. Never recruit the DMD. One, never recruit. The D&D community is big enough now. I'm all done recruiting. I'm only inviting people to my games that want to play. That's what's up. Like as in like you go around to your friends, oh play D&D, I'll host the campaign. We do pirates, we'll do magical fantasy, it'll be so fun. Yeah. I'm free Mondays and Tuesday nights, man. I can do it. Any Monday and Tuesday nights, kids are sleeping by 9 p.m. so we can play all night, man. Yeah, I don't want to convince you. Okay, so number two. It's what your character would do. Well, then your character will die in this campaign. They treat this NPC that way. Sorry, guys. She's an elder gold dragon with a hidden construct henchman. She absolutely has no problem killing you right here where you stand. I agree. This guy's spitting. This last one is something I only recently began. Shenanigans equals death. And is that necessary? It puts rails on your game. Anywho, I feel your pain, amigo. By the way, I've had awesome game with two, and people always want to join. I've never had a game where we don't pick some folks up. Limited 30 minutes. Look, I'm not. I'm not going to continue using this software much longer. That means it wants to only record 30 minutes. But I'll use it for a while because I don't think I'm able to do that right now. All right, so we were looking at this guy's comment. Frey Prime is a reply to that post that we were looking at, that chain. Death is the answer. I'm a DM in my 40s as well. I cut teeth on adventures like Tomb of Annihilation and Return to Temple of Elemental Evil. Those adventures don't suffer idiots. Those adventures didn't suffer idiots or murder hobos, and neither did my DMs. I don't either. Usually, if they die enough times, they'll leave. I have some news stories. What's the chart? I've never seen it. I was thinking the same thing. I promise you don't. Brian Sarah, OP, the other commenter under OP. I promise you don't need to. You'll be fine using common sense and having a solid moral compass. The chart is a waste of time. It suggests always taking things out when in reality, always talking things out
when in reality, you should only put effort into doing with what people you are close with and who you know are capable of seeing their errors and who haven't made such egregious ones as engaging in bigotry, essay, anything like that. Scoremill drops the link. Let's hope it's good. Okay, awesome. Look at this. Resolving basic behavioral problems in your tabletop RPG group. All right. A player or GM does something you don't like. We're faced with this opportunity, this situation. The player is not happy. Okay. What do you do? GM's not happy. What do you do? This is great. This is a great topic. All right. What do we do? All right. Just in case the microphone is like an issue here, I'm just going to put it back and repeat. Here we are pulling up the chart. Now, what is the chart? Chart is resolving basic behavioral problems in your tabletop RPG group. Starting with the green dot on the left side, a player or GM does something you don't like. Could be a lot of things. So what do you do? How should we react? How should we resolve this? In capital letters. Talk about them. Get ahead of myself. Talk to them about it like an adult. Okay. We go to the middle. So they listen and change their behavior. Everyone's happy. Easy. They didn't understand you or you wussed out. Back to the beginning. All right, let's think of a situation real quick. We're running through a town being attacked by bandits. Houses are on fire. Horses are running rampant through the streets. Mothers are crying. It's a sad scene. The bandits, they're targeting the stonework buildings, the bank, the police station, the courthouse. They want to overthrow the mayoral offices. They don't want to deal with the border patrols and the taxes anymore that were put on these bandits. Fair taxes, but they decided to rebel. And as that's happening, as you're explaining this as a DM, your player is upset. And they say, I don't like all this harsh banditry and rampaging and pillaging. And a good DM will hear them and help make it not so horrible. Some other DM could be including scenes of SA and horrible, hard scenes. Sure, it paints a picture and it's not real life, but we want to be mindful of our players. So let's say a DM included scenes of something really horrible, or even a mention of it very briefly, like maybe someone mentions oh, these people were affected in the raid in a horrible way. So the player does something the GM does something we don't like. They're upset. We're upset the GM, or our player's upset at us, or a GM, for going into or mentioning something that's triggering. They tell the GM, it never comes up again in the whole campaign ever. Pillaging. They're attacking the towns. Heck, next time it's just goblins. They didn't understand you or wussed out. Oh, right, right. Well, if the GM's like, oh, I won't mention that again, you know what I mean? I didn't realize I was crossing a line. Everyone's happy. And ideally, the GM's happy too. We don't really need to include scenes of brutality like that to paint a picture of raiding. Come on. Um, but also, it depends on your players. I mean, if I'm not going to shame anyone for doing that, I mean, it's a game, but also respect your players. So if they don't like it, don't put it in your game. I think you come up with a compromise pretty easy right there. So they didn't understand you or you wussed out. So then you're, let's say there's a storyline later in your campaign. The DM includes it, throws it in there, and then it has like a mention of like a princess, and there's like a guard, and then all of a sudden the princess is pregnant, and she's crying a lot, stuff like that. And it's supposed to be like insinuating um essay or false or just things crossing a line, similar vein to our previous example. So they didn't understand you or you wussed out. The player's upset again because you mentioned this. Wussed out? Let me think what that means. I mean, this is it's so weird to include that here. Wussed out, like you thought you did it. Like, oh, I thought I mentioned it to you. I thought it was specific enough. I wasn't clear enough, and it happened again. Nah. All right. You were clear, but still doing it. Okay, so in our example of the princess, does the thing bother anyone else? The other players? They don't care. Let's say no. Just how salty are you? Okay. All right. this list, this thing is stupid. Let's keep going. I didn't know this thing was stupid. We did get warning about the chart. To be fair, I guess. How salty are you? I burn with the white hot fury of 1,000 suns. Then find a different group. And a win are you are. A win are is you. Okay. See, I thought we were diving into something constructive, and I was really just trying to immerse myself into the flowchart. Okay. It could be worse, could be stabbed. Let it go. Let it go. All better because you let it go. Because you let go that the DM's going to mention those things. Yeah, I mean, you could let it go. Like, you could find a new group if the DM's not going to change. So, did it bother thing? So, let's say it bothered your friend too. Is it really that big a deal to all of you? Well, hey, you just asked us if it bothered us. Why are you asking us again? No. All better. Is that big of a deal? No. Yes, it really chaps our collective britches. Kick the nerd out. Jolly cooperation. Okay. This is what we call a rabbit hole, where you're like going down a chain of comments. Someone mentions something, no details on it. We're wondering what's the chart. Here it is, and it's some dumb thing, waste of time thing. How many minutes do we waste looking at this thing? A bunch, probably. All right, let's see what other people say about it. If they said anything. President of the Sun says, "I've seen this a lot, but a winner is you." Geez, how old is this chart? Yeah, right. 10 years? Oh, come on, it has to be older than that. As best I can tell, I haven't been able to track down the original post or comments from when it was created, but the earliest instance I am aware of is a repost on r/Pathfinder. RPG sub 10 years ago, where someone gives credit to someone who appears to be the original author. I can't confirm it because it doesn't appear that the user's post history. Possibly they deleted the original comment or post. And replies to the Brian guy from when they say, don't even look at the charts, waste time. Fox Rail says, yeah, I don't, I wouldn't, but I like reading that kind of stuff for voyeuristic entertainment. Fair enough. Let's look up that word. Let's look up this word. Voyeuristic.
Voyeuristic.
Relating or denoting. This is an exciting one. Like an exciting thing just to rabbit hole on. Voyeuristic, relating or denoting sexual pleasure gained from watching others when they are naked or engage in sexual activity. Or deriving or relating to enjoyment from seeing the pain of distress of others. Guys. What the fuck? Just the real definition of that word, like. All right, back to Brian. He says, "Okay, I gotcha. Unfortunately, I don't have a link, but it's basically a flowchart intended to help people deal with problematic players. I find it to be incomplete, too rigid, which is why I don't recommend using it. So in a conflict, people randomly say, "Oh, just use this stupid flowchart." You know what we should do? We should make a better flowchart. I mean, I'm not going to do it, but someone else out there should do that shit because this 10-year-old dumb meme, it's ridiculously dumb. WinR, I didn't even heard of that. Sounds like way more than 10 years. Oh, okay. The last reply is Fox Real. Faux Real. Which is a really interesting username. This guy posts a lot, huh? Makes sense. People aren't machines anyway, and not always logical. So they're always fudgy edge cases. Right. So a flow chart, which is like machine engineering, thinking, yeah, that's not going to be the best thing. All right. Also, Tepez says it sounds like no one involved in this post is over the age of 15. OP was 18 4 years ago, according to his post history. I needed to check as well. Ay. I remember being 18 online for 6 years straight before turning 19. Good one, certainly not Steve. That's like the first time I laughed at Reddit in years. Sir Rip Salat says, yeah, anyone who thinks the behavior ends at 15 hasn't been exposed to manosphere chuds. Also, Tepez says, I was trying to preserve some shade of hope for the world before I left to work this morning. Continuing down the chain. Just so the yellow scarf. Just so you know, there are plenty of young men out there that are not like that at all. You just don't not hear about them because they're not doing anything negative to draw attention to themselves. If it helps, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. The other wheels are there, but you don't notice them because they are fine. Sometimes that grease needs to be set on fire, says Lord Trickster. This is the stupidest comment chain, guys. Sir Rips a lot. If it makes you feel better, it's not just an age thing. There are so many people, even the people who are 15, who are wonderful, empathetic people and better humans than those at OOP's table.
It's just misguided to think that teenagers who are like this that would naturally grow out of it. Thanks, Rogan. Thanks, Tate. Thanks, Jordan Peterson. Stupid. Oh, okay. Don't worry. I'm sure there's no way they'll say stay in the gene pool. I don't know, man. I think this is the lowest point for you today. Hopefully, it's up for you here. That's from Zach Trill. And the last guy says avoid Reddit before work, which is avoid the comments before work, people. After, go to the comments. Don't ruin your day. Do not use Reddit before driving or operating heavy machinery. Also, Pestis writes in only 30 minutes ago. I wonder how this chain will continue. I just want to go back to this guy real quick because it rips a lot because, like, they are the problem. A problem. One of the problems. It's all about the zeitgeists. And they're in the zeitgeists. Anywho, Iron Weasel says, your friends sound like assholes. You might want to reconsider who you spend your time with. OP says, yeah, I spent all day thinking about this. I may not have a lot of friends, but as the saying goes, better be alone than bad company. As I look around. Alright. Once principal says, I'm not proud of it, but in instigating a TPK at times like these brings some peace to a troubled DM soul. Striking Garage says, good, good, let the heat flow through you. He replies to that. KV Dolphin says, do what must be done. Do not hesitate. Show no mercy. A banshee appears and screams that DC is 35 con save. She does it twice. Classoric Rex replies, she does it twice. While hilarious, I give them a little hope that this maybe fight is a winnable, then scream the second time. Alright, this chain's stupid too. Eason Thigh says, hey lads, I find I really enjoy D&D, but we can't really enjoy each other's styles. Then find some players that are not batshit crazy. Might even then use one good player, probably hate the style too, and having a basis for party helps a lot. Either way, as the comments told you, teach those cunts. Well, let's see if there's anything sustenance left from this thread. Okay, let's read this one. Tanthal says, what I'm about to say isn't in any way unkind, but sometimes some of the posts here surprise me a lot on a human level. It seems like a lot of people posting things about table disputes dissociate the D&D game so much that they lose sight of everything that is usually considered basic decency. Let's start again. You're the DM. Your friends know that it's time-consuming role, a lot of work, and generally much greater level of involvement than that of a player. And they're knowingly trampling all those efforts underfoot by sabotaging your plot. To give an IRL equivalent, you submit a report to your friend who's supposed to help you by reading it over to a few comments. This friend takes your report and instead of doing as agreed, tears in front of you because sulking because you dared to look discomforted. Which brings me to my question. Would you consider this person a friend? On the face of it, No. It would cause a major. I hate how this guy talks. I'm gonna cut it there for this guy. Of course they're not friends. Well, they're friends, but they don't want to play D&D. Okay. Let's see if there's like a new take, like from new. Because that's a lot of upvotes for such a dumb post. And we'll check out controversial. 2 minutes ago. God, these are such terrible players. Oh, this is from presentation that 2839. God, these are such terrible players. Like you can only play with them. Like you play style characters to be a pro player. Like I'm in kindergarten, I know everyone. I know everyone that uses an excuse to rob them at the table play, but I am not since a problem player. The DM I came up with an exchange system where I level a bit slower because a portion of all XP earned is set aside for different items for her to find. She's having a growing collection of finds as a kinder. Should I not say those things I'm going to get, but they are fairly balanced for the XP I'm partaking with. Yo, dude, that was a long sentence. It's what my character would do, but since I'm a disruptive player, I find it respectful to work around. Bro. Efficient Ebb says just 10 minutes ago, I'm sorry you feel that way. Some players will never know how much work a DM will put into the storyline. Hopefully you can find a group that you keep playing with that can appreciate all your hard work. I started volunteering at a local game store, DMing for a teenager adult. It's a great time. I find everyone's very appreciative. Interesting. From Fleaming money. Oh man, that sounds like a shitty table. I'm so sorry you had to go through that. I would say to keep going, you'll find people in your DM that'll appreciate you. But I totally understand why you don't want anyone. I bet you don't want people trying to convince you otherwise. I've This is from Black Hat Cat 7. I've told my players 3 simple rules, like your character will be executed, usually in ceremony. No actively working against the party, meaning if during your quest to fight an ice giant, a player cannot join the side of the ice giant. Sir. No SA. No slaves. Shockingly, the slave is the biggest issue for people. I have zero idea why people want slaves, but boy do they want them. I've told my players that if they somehow trick me into giving them a slave, the slave will brutally murder the slave master. I have zero issues so far because my players know I'll enforce these rules. Of course, parties working against each other. At my table, I'm kind of into it a little bit. I like the drama, just a little tiny bit. Doesn't usually happen much though. Also, the slave topic. Never experienced PCs wanting one, but um, there's NPCs that have slaves in my world, goblins and military groups. So it would be an evil player to do that to someone, but maybe someone horrible, despicable. Maybe it would happen. All right, search by controversial. Flats Flasnesky hater. During the season 0, I explained to my play, which is during the session 0, I explained to my players that I would not be taking this what my character would do as reasoning as excuse to do something outside their character or alignment. If they want to proceed with such action, they must give me full reasoning why, how it relates to the character. Otherwise, it's not happening. Apart from that, I won't entertain many topics because sometimes I find it funny. Because someone finds it funny. Yikes. Moldy sponge? Doesn't sound like you're having a good time. Maybe quitting's a good idea. I mean,
That is one of the things on the flow chart. So yeah. Nigel Hammer. I really don't understand why there's such a problem. My players go around insulting and offending just about everyone they meet, and they're lucky if the town isn't on fire by the time they leave. In return, I make sure they absolutely suffer the consequences of behavior, and everyone loves it. The way I see it, my job as a DM is to be a neutral force of nature. My NPCs might get angry, but why on earth would anything that happened, bother me personally at the slightest? Honestly, I think some people should just stick to creative writing if that's all they want to do is tell a story without the other people interfering. And with that, you get the comment of the day. Nigel Hammer. Yep. Good job, guy. Now, that's it. That's the post. That's it. 100%. And it's controversial. Controversial. But literally, that's it. So, thanks for watching, everyone.